Hey guys, what's up? I'm here at DreamHack Montreal with Pokebunny. How you doing today, buddy?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad. How are you enjoying the event so far?
It's been great. I love Montreal. Wasn't the best event for me playing-wise, so I wasn't feeling too great on day one, but came back here on day two and just been enjoying Montreal and the great games we've had so far.
Great, absolutely. What were your expectations coming into Montreal?
I just wanted to make the round of 32. I think a lot of other players feel that way because once you get there, it's there are just so many great players that there's no way you can really expect anything more than that unless you're really pushing up there, top 8, top 4 sometimes. But there are a lot of players, like most of the North American players. I think that was their goal, I guess.
Right. What do you think of the fact that nowadays we seem to have so many great kind of like mid-level North American players? Like there's like a lot, right? Like it's like more now than ever. That a couple of them are standouts,
right? But
there's so many just like good players,
right?
Do you think like the NA scene is slowly getting better and better, kind of where like the EU scene is?
It's hard to say. I still feel like there's a bit of a gap in terms of that number of really good players. Like, I feel like the players that you're talking about in North America are definitely a level below the ones in Europe.
Sure.
But there are a lot of players who are getting good. I'm not sure if that gap will ever disappear or what would be necessary there, but I think the biggest thing is just for as many individual players as possible to keep pushing themselves to get to that next level, because there are some that do and they succeed.
Right, absolutely. What do you think the NA scene needs to do to get better? Like right now, how do you think our scene is doing in general?
Right, that's a hard question. I mean, one of the things that's tough is just so many North American players have other commitments because it's just not that realistic to make a career out of playing StarCraft in North America right now. So it's really hard to expect more of those players to push themselves to the next level. You really have to have a lot of competitive drive and just inherent desire to succeed to do that. I think part of it, I don't think this is going to happen, but I think one thing that would help is just if there was that infrastructure to make it more realistic for those mid-level North American players to, be a little more committed to StarCraft. But right now it's just like, unless you're like Neeb or Scarlet, there's just no realistic way to expect yourself to be able to have a career playing StarCraft for a long period of time.
Right.
So it's really hard.
Right. One of the other things I wanted to talk to you was just about Sloth in general. Okay. How do you feel like Sloth is doing as a team right now?
I feel pretty good about what we're doing. We just picked out Suppy. Game Time has had a pretty good year, even though he didn't have the best event this time out. He did really well in Austin, and he's been kicking ass, getting to Challenger every season. Yeah. So we've definitely had some players, getting their name out there, and we've been slowly, I feel like improving our roster bit by bit, kind of getting rid of the weaker players and pushing our level up. So to me, that's what I see as progress. In terms of the organization itself, we're finding ways to support our players as much as possible, especially the ones that are successful. And that's really what we've always been about, is just finding ways to support the players as much as possible.
Right, absolutely. And do you feel like the fact that NA, like right now we got like a new team league, right? With the Africa sponsoring it. What is it, like the Global Team League, or what is the name?
Africa,
I can't remember.
I don't know. Africa something.
Africa Global Team League, regardless, that's what it is. Yeah. I think that's a really cool opportunity for the team to play together, right?
Yeah,
because there seems to be a lack of actual team events. Yeah. And so I'm happy to see someone take a step forward and allow, and it's not just for NA, but I'm happy to see that there are a lot of NA teams entering.
Right, yeah. I mean, I think one thing that's great about that is when you have team leagues, it can help the teams kind of feel more like teams instead of just like a collection of sponsored players. Right. That's one thing that I think a lot of people have felt, especially since Pro League stopped, where we would see the teams compete in person. Right. Is like, even when there are team events and you see teams at events, and it's like you can't really. It doesn't seem that much like a team, but that is one thing I like about Sloth as well, is I feel like when we do have team leagues, we really work together and we talk about, strategy and how we can maximize our chances of winning. And then even outside of the team leagues, we work together on helping each other prepare for matches and stuff. So I think anything that kind of helps the teams feel more like teams makes the scene a lot more interesting from that perspective.
Right, absolutely. And now, are you done with school, or are you almost done with school?
I'm done. I just finished this past May. I graduated from college. So,
Perfect.
yeah, right now I'm looking for full-time work, and that's probably not going to be in esports, unfortunately. But I would love to get another opportunity in esports, if a big opportunity in esports, I guess, if life took me that way. That would be something I'd be really interested in doing.
Right. Any expectations for this coming year now that you're graduated? Then.
It's really hard to say. I'm just not sure what my life is going to turn out like. I'm kind of in the middle of job searching right now,
Sure.
so depending on what my job situation is like and where I end up, I'm hoping to stay in New York City, which is where I'm from.
Right.
But I may not end up there, and I'm just not sure how much time I'm going to have and what I can realistically expect of myself. I'm hoping to stay as involved as possible. Like, I'm definitely not planning to just cut off as soon as I start working. But at the same time, I don't want to give myself unrealistic expectations that will hurt me in other parts of my life, I guess. But one thing that I will say is that this event has really motivated me to kind of make the most of the time that I have now, at least for the time being. So I'm really gonna, when I get back home, I'm gonna take a look at like my life and my schedule and try to, find ways to get as much out of StarCraft as I can while I still have the time.
Right. Yeah, there's nothing quite like an event to kind of reinvigorate, the StarCraft 2 spirit.
Absolutely.
So, well, thank you for taking the time. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the event.
You too.